Dallas on air. 17 years of real talk, real stories, and real Dallas. From the heart of Texas to the ears of the world. This is Dallas on air.
The Groove, a podcast that's a transformational show about dance and a people's journey to success. That's just a vibe. Welcome to the couch.
The Groove, sponsored by the flyest station in the nation, flyradio.com. Your station for music lovers. Listen live 24 hours on flyradio.com. Download our app from the Google Play Store for talent or advertising opportunities. Please call 773-FLY-DIVA, otherwise known as 773-359-3482. Welcome to the couch. Tonight is our first live call-in show, and I'm very excited about it. Some of the things we'll be talking about is everything dance, of course. How to get into dance, where to go to dance, where you want to do social dancing, the business behind dance, as well as the teaching of dance. And so there's a call on the screen for you to call in, is the number. One of the things that I wanted to share was the differences in different cities and states about being a dance instructor. So when I moved here, I was having a conversation the other day with another instructor that was not from this area. He was from the New York area. And he said, hey, Texas is a little different from most states. And I said, yeah, it is as far as dance. He goes, when you were in New York, did you have to be certified to teach? I was like, yeah, when I was in New York and when I was in California, but Texas doesn't have that requirement. And so that piggybacked from a conversation we had with someone wanting to be an instructor and wanting to know what those things entailed in being an instructor. And was there any type of certifications? And so I was sharing with them, it depends on where you are. In Texas, there's no certifications to teach dance. But in New York and California, there are certifications. The qualifications are you have to have a bachelor's or a master's in the liberal arts or dance, and then you have to have an advanced teacher's certificate for dance. And so those are the rules that we apply to outside of Texas. But in Texas, if you want to teach dance, you can teach dance. So that was a conversation. It was interesting because we have a lot of people that want to be instructors, rightfully so, but I don't know if they are familiar with the content of being a teacher versus an instructor and what's entailed in that. So some of the things that are entailed in that is, never stop learning. As an instructor and as a dancer, you never want to stop learning. You never want to take people lightly, because teaching adults are not like teaching adolescents. It's night and day. So you want to make sure that when you're getting started, you build a strong foundation. And that foundation needs to be predicated on what you stand for, what your philosophies, ideals, and techniques are, and as well as what type of classes you want to have and what type of content that you want to teach in your classes. So it's inherent that you make sure that you're able to communicate properly. That's going to be key and vital to your success, to not diminish anyone or to ridicule anyone, but to be a positive influence of them wanting to learn a dance genre that you feel that you are equipped to teach and share at a high level. The other things is, you have to create a positive environment. So often in certain places, the environment isn't as pleasant as it could be because it's competitive. Make sure that you create an environment that is pleasant, that people can thrive in, and also make sure that you have a variety of offerings for people. If they don't feel like they're growing, they're going to leave. If they don't feel like they're being improving, they're not going to stay. Also, you want to make sure that you're able to evaluate and improve yourself, the people in which you teach and or instruct, as well as anyone that may be interested in learning your genre, may be visiting. You want to make sure that you show them who you are and let them decide if they want to choose you as an instructor or a teacher regarding dance specifically. And one of the things you have to do is you can't take yourself too seriously. You have to be willing to make mistakes. I make mistakes often. It's fun. It's a fun environment when I get called out by the students that I consider family. It's all a good time because we don't take it too seriously. So those are some of the things that you have to do. You have to be able to maneuver different personalities. And more importantly, you have to be willing to ask for feedback. And when you get that feedback, whether you've asked for it or not, accept it. Because that's vital to your sustainment and your success as an instructor and or a teacher, or even as a facilitator. If you can't take feedback, then you're going to be closed-minded and you're not going to be successful. The other thing I think is also making sure that you treat people with respect, kindness. You can be tough, but you need to be mindful, and you also need to make sure that you're thoughtful about the way you do things, the way you interact, and how you maneuver in your interactions of communication. So those are some tidbits that I was sharing with someone as far as if you want to be an instructor, you have to be pretty much like a teacher that's teaching education. You have to plan for it. You can't walk into it and just say, this is what I'm going to do and throw it on the wall and hope to be successful. So if we have any questions about it, please call in. The number is 469-708-8609. So looking forward to getting some calls, looking forward to answering some questions, and looking forward to sharing some information based on what's being asked or posed to me. The other thing is it's important to make sure that there's a goal in mind when you're teaching. Make sure that there's a place where you want to get people, whether that's improving their skills, their techniques, their aptitude, their confidence. David Herrera last week mentioned, we have to be able to maneuver through people and be able to inspire them and empower them to be the best versions of them, or extract what we see in them from a dance perspective that they may not have tapped into yet. So those are some of the things that, as one starts to consider instructing and things of that nature, understand it's a time commitment. It's not just showing up and teaching class. It's the preparation of what you're doing prior to you get to that class, post-preparation of tear down or clean up or wherever you are, depending on your class structure. So in those instances, it's very imperative that you be mindful. And if you're growing, make sure you get a good team around you, a team that believes in what you're wanting to do, that can help enhance the environment and create the type of environment for people to thrive in. So with all that being said, I hope that everybody has a firmer understanding of some of the differences of teaching and what it entails. California, New York, you have to be certified. Texas, you do not. There was a point in California where you didn't have to be certified, and I believe they changed that credentialing in 2016 to say you have to be certified again. And so if you're going to go teach in California, they're going to ask for your certification. If they are a reputable business or you're trying to choreograph for someone else or something of that nature, you need to be certified. So just be aware, be prepared. You can get certified on a lot of different places online, but make sure that you do that if you're going to teach in those type of states. Now, as it relates to business, let's talk about how do you get started. Well, there's a lot of places you can go to seek out dance. You can go to clubs, nightclubs, lounges where they may be teaching. They are teaching in restaurants now at a certain time of night, where they open up a level of the restaurant where they will give some form of instruction. Oh, we have a first call. Welcome to the Groove.
There's a lot of places you can go to seek out dance. You can go to club.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Groove.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Jika. Thank you so much for having your podcast this evening. I have a pretty straightforward question. I was wondering, as a dance instructor, what is something you wish your students understood? Not necessarily about dance, but about the emotional and mental energy that it takes to lead a class and build your students.
I think the person has to be resolved in who they are. I think they have to have a type of offering that is appealing to others, a style of offering that's appealing to others, as well as having some principles that people can align themselves with. So for my class, although instruction takes place, it's about predication of family and religion. So we preach that. We believe Jesus Christ died for our sins, and those who don't, we respect them where they are. But our fundamental premise is making you feel like you belong. Dance is an individual accomplishment, an individual task and or activity, and you want to make sure that people feel inclusive to be able to share, grow, and be able to enjoy the genre of dancing that you're teaching. I think the other part of your question is you have to want to come there to make a difference. You have to want to be able to impact other people's lives. In my environment, I'm dealing with adults that's had a full day's work, and life is lifing, and things aren't always going well for them for various reasons in their life or at work. And so we want them to not forget that, but be able to put that aside so they can focus on them and enjoy the latter part of their day, so it gives them something to build on for the next morning, or sustainment when we send videos home with them so they can continue to grow and adopt the dance. Great question. Thanks for the call, Jika.
Great. Thank you.
Do we have another call? No, that was that call. Okay, good. So let's talk about getting started. So as I was mentioning, you can get started in a lot of different ways. You can seek someone online for the type of genre that you want. If you're familiar with dance studios, you can do that. There are a lot of places where you can go locally to find a dance genre that may be something that you're interested in. I would highly recommend that you probably go online, or you may see people out dancing, and don't be afraid to ask them what the dance is that they're doing if it's of interest to you, as well as where they learned it from. I think that having that awareness to reach out and talk to people you don't know, to engage with them on a dance that you may not be familiar with, but you may have some interest in, by all means, put yourself out there in those environments. If it's country dancing, go to a place that sells country, where they play country music. If it's Latin, go someplace where they serve Latin food, or where they have Latin dances at. There's a lot of marketing out there now, and studios have multicultural genres that they're teaching. So make sure that if that's what you want to do, you have to get out to go do it, right? And it's a time commitment. It's definitely a time commitment. People don't realize that time commitments as it relates to learning a dance. It's a lot of time, but it's also rewarding because it also allows you to help with your balance, motor skills, It also helps with your mindset, your recognition, your recollection. It helps for a lot of those cognitive things that we need as we continue to mature to make sure we stay sharp. And hand-eye coordination and feet coordination are imperative, as well as listening, hearing, and understanding how people learn. So those are the things that I would recommend one can do for social dancing. Find out where there's dances. Find out where there's events where people are dancing, and go and just visit or go and find instruction. And I think you'll find that there are a variety of places where you can go that will allow you to do that. But again, you have to be willing to go out and seek those places out. And those places typically are very fruitful, and people are typically very friendly, engaging you and letting you know. And there's probably an instructor or two that's already there out dancing with their students, such as what I do. So those are some of the things that you can do to get dancing. Now, the business behind dance and being an instructor is, like I was sharing, that of a teacher. You have to make sure that your mindset is constantly evolving, not necessarily to reinvent the dance, but to make the dance appealing from its original state. Everybody's going to take that dance and make it their own, but as instructors, our duty is to stay significantly true to the dance art form and teach it as we know it. And then as we continue to grow, to evolve, to continue to teach to our level of understanding, as well as our level of interest in wanting to convey new techniques that we learn, or new ways of doing things, new patterns to understand or to convey to others. So those are some of the things that as instructors, you need to always have an open mind of, are you being a sponge and learning? Or are you being a dictator and trying to make a name for yourself, which isn't going to be sustaining? It really boils down to what your brand integrity is. And so when you're thinking about doing that, you need to go about considering it, doing it the right way, doing a DBA, doing business as, or an LLC, something that is significant to people that tells them that you are credentialed. Enough to want to take classes for you, whether you're certified or not. You can still be credentialed and be an amazing instructor. I know a lot of amazing instructors that I will refer people to, and there are some that I wouldn't. But that's based on their foundation and what they teach and how they interact with the people that I see them interacting. Zumba is a little different. Zumba, you have to be certified. If you're interested in Zumba and teaching Zumba, you have to be certified, and you can do that online because Zumba is a trademark. It's not just a dance genre, but it's also a trademark associated with that. So if you want to teach Zumba, you shouldn't, or be mindful if you do teach Zumba and you're not certified through Zumba, because they will find out that you're probably not certified if you're teaching it. And they probably won't allow you to teach it without being certified, because then you will be having copyright infringement. So Zumba is one of those dances where you have to be certified to teach, regardless of what state you're in. And so if you didn't know that, I'm just sharing information so everybody can stay safe and do things the right way and in order. Outside of that, one of the other things I wanted to talk about was the business of teaching. Where are you teaching? How do you find a place to teach? Some people start out in nightclubs. I started out at a restaurant. And I said, hey, I'll bring new people here. And I didn't want to be there long because people weren't always coming. I was hoping people would come that were eating and be interested. So I transitioned from that to a lounge. Same thing, the lounge had a lifetime of probably a year for me, and then I wanted to be in the studio. I wanted to be in a place where I can have a foundation where people can come on a weekly basis, and I can build a clientele and a class of people. That way I can continue to grow the brand, make the brand significant, flourish the brand, and continue to be a pillar in the community. So I stayed in the studio. I've been in the studio since 2011, and it's 2025, and I don't ever see myself leaving the studio. I currently teach at 2155 in Carrollton, Texas, studio and dance event center, and that's where I will always be. So at this time, we're going to take a break. So we will step back and chat with you in a few moments. Welcome back to The Groove. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you all about from a dance perspective outside of classrooms are workshops, private lessons, and how to go about doing those things. So when you're looking at boosting your class or doing something to help improve a certain dance genre, what we typically do is we typically put together a curriculum of things we want to teach for either beginners, advanced beginners, or advanced dancers in certain genres. And we typically have 1 to 3 people that are going to teach those different pieces of information to those 3 differentiating dance groups. So workshops are primarily to touch up on basics. They're to help you with techniques. They are there to help you with positioning and balance. They're there to help you with patterns, which you will learn in different dance genres, so you can put your dance genre patterns together and really individualize your dance. So those things are coming about probably every now and then. So be a lookout on those things. It probably something that you may want to venture out and look into. Regardless of who your instructor is, you may want to go and see what someone else is offering, or if it meets your need or if it doesn't. So workshops are something that are beneficial when the curriculum is done and the instructors are reputable. It gives you an opportunity to continue to grow your dance. Private lessons. Private lessons are something that I do a lot of. And private lessons can look a lot of different ways. I do a lot of things for weddings, do a lot of things for competitions, for people that compete. I do a lot of private lessons for people that just want to improve the dance genre that they're currently learning, or if they're looking for showmanship or things of that nature that they can improve their dance if they're competing or if they're just dancing socially. I teach those too. And those things are typically scheduled weeks in advance, meeting with a client, figuring out what time works for you as well as what day works for you and where you're going to do that. When I offer private lessons at the studio where I teach at, and I often offer lessons where they may live. Looks like we have a caller. Welcome to The Groove.
Hello.
Hi.
This is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
I'm your favorite student.
Oh, you are.
How are you today?
I am wonderful. Happy to be trying something
Well,
new. How are you today?
I'm kind of flustered. I've been all over the place, but I'm glad I was able to get in.
Well, thanks for tuning in. What flurry of questions do you have for me?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, flurry of questions. Well, I heard you talking about private lessons. So, I mean, of course, I've taken private lessons from you before. So, for me, private lessons have been one of those tools that has, I think, elevated my dance, as you know. When I first started, I felt like I was behind because I had a foot surgery. So in order for me to catch up, I felt like I needed you to help me get there. And that's what I think made me invest in my dance. And it also elevated me and pushed me to be more serious about what I was doing. So it helped me catch up in that. So do you think you would advise that for most of your students who are serious about the dance?
I think that if they're serious about your dance, and your situation was a little different because you had started class and then you had foot surgery. And so there were times where you weren't able to participate in the classroom environment. And so you have invested in your dance to be, if not the best, one of the best in your class and in the dance genre in which we're doing. And so I always recommend that, private lessons are going to depend on a lot of different variables. One, do you have the time? Two, do you have the commitment once you've taken it to do the work? Because after a private lesson is really where the work starts. And can you afford it? I'm not going to make people think that it's this or it's that. Depending on the instructor, you pay for what you get based on their credentials and their knowledge and things of that nature. But I always recommend private lessons. I've taken private lessons. I'll be taking private lessons again, probably in salsa, so I can get my salsa back to where I want it to be. But yeah, I recommend taking private lessons. I think that they're beneficial if you take them seriously. And I think they can evolve your dance as well as your mindset and attitude about your approach to the dance.
Absolutely. I think also that if you're serious, you do want to invest in what you're learning and you do want to practice. And I think the fact that you pushed me and you encouraged me to practice, and I listened and I've taken that to heart. It has really helped me really elevate my dance and be better. And my second question is this: as far as other dance genres, what do you think can complement swing out? What other genres could complement that?
I think any genre other than belly dancing can complement swing out.
Are you serious? Because I want to take belly dancing.
Belly dancing won't complement it.
Why not? Why not?
Because it has very little movement with your feet other than a lateral movement of left to right. Okay. It's all about body control, contours, and movement and range of motion. To be a belly dancer, you have to have an extreme range of motion with your body control.
Okay.
Whereas every other dance genre consists with you moving your feet. So I think that once you've mastered a genre, any genre you choose to do, you have to be willing to leave that genre alone to master the other one. Some people can do both. I haven't seen a lot of people that can do both, but it can happen because you tend to blur the dance and cross-pollinate, and it doesn't always look authentic when you're dancing with people that are vested in the dance. They'll know that you're not vesting in the dance as they are. But I think any dance can cross-pollinate, whether it's salsa, bachata, whether it's Chicago stepping, whether it's West Coast swing, whether it's East Coast, whether it's hand dancing. Any genre can complement it because you've already been given a foundation of dance. not just the genre you're learning. And I think that's what the key is.
Perfect. Wow. And can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Okay, how challenging is it to get somebody like me who started with no experience from dance? I was straight off the couch to get me to where I am today. How challenging was that?
It wasn't challenging. It was fun.
Oh, okay.
And the reason it's fun is because everyone, you have your own life experiences and journeys. And mine are diametrically different in every imaginable way. So the fact that we have a communication style that understands one another made it fun. You're willing to take critique and criticism and all of those things of practicing. You took to heart, and you put in the work whether you wanted to or not, because you wanted to prove that not only could you do it, but you could do it well. And so that was fun.
Absolutely.
It was fun, and you would push back. And that's one of the things that as an instructor, you need to take that feedback, leave your feelings at the door, because you're a paying client. And the client needs to get what out of what they're paying for. So I don't have a problem with pushback and all of that other kind of stuff. Especially in a private lesson, because that is your time to accomplish what you set out to accomplish. So in your sessions, I would ask, what do we want to work on today? And then you would have to give that some thought, and then we would start working on those things. But the work didn't start at the session. The work started after the session, where you would have to work on those things. So when we came back, we would glaze over those things and then move on to something else to continue to advance your dance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the dedication has to be there. The thought process has to be there. The stick-to-itiveness has to be there. A lot of variables has to be there. And all of those things funnel up under one word. You have to be committed. If you're committed, you can accomplish anything under the sun. And you are
Totally
committed.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for answering my questions and your time. And I'll let someone else call in and have your expertise.
Well, good. Thank you for calling in.
Absolutely. Good evening.
My dance journey. My dance journey started when I was 11 years old. My dance journey started when my mom started playing music, and I knew I could dance because that was the way I woke up. My mother was a dancer, and that's where I inherited my dancing from. But with that being inherited, I had to teach myself how to dance. I did not take any formal dance classes. I could watch something and I can mimic it, and I can pretty much perfect it. What I didn't know were the nuances about it, the techniques involved in it, counting. None of those things did I take into account when I started learning dance. But as I continue to grow in dance, I knew that some of those things foundationally were important. So as I started learning different genres, I would have challenging conversations with instructors. Being that I graduated from Juilliard and I already knew dance, I just needed to understand their dance and their perspective. And a lot of people I couldn't learn from because their dance knowledge in the genre that they're teaching to me wasn't significant enough. And so what I did is I started searching out who was best by going to some of those places, those nightclubs, and asking, hey, who'd you learn from? Or who's the best at this and who's the best at that? And I would travel. I would travel to California. I would travel wherever I could to find the dancers, the instructors that were best in class. And so those were the people I started learning from. And that was well after I had already started taking dance class and I'd already finished my dancing career. So those people can be found. You just have to be willing to seek them out. And you have to be willing to travel sometimes. That's what it takes. My clients travel to me, and I travel to my clients, whichever is most convenient for us to get work done. So from a dancing perspective, it takes a commitment. It takes a commitment to know that this is not just a pastime, but it's a life sign of saying, hey, this is kind of what I want to do at this point in my life because this is what gives me joy and pleasure. So those are some of the things that everybody needs to take into account when they start looking at dance. Some people do it leisurely. I know that when there's sports on, dancers are slim, especially when it comes to men. When there's class and there's a sporting event on, like the finals, they're probably not going to be in class. But the women will always be there. That's why the women are much greater dancers than the men, because they're committed. They're committed to be consistent. They're committed to practice. They're committed to put in the work. They're committed to be the best versions of themselves, whereas men are not as committed because there are other competing things that they have other interests in, and dance is not one of their priorities. It's just one of the things that may be a pastime that they're considering. And so when you look at the dance genre across the world, women outnumber men probably 18 to 20 to 1 because women are committed to being dancers. So the best dancers are women. One of the things that men do a lot is they start having conversations about non-dance related things on the floor. But we'll get back to that. There's a caller. Welcome to the Groove.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Hi. Who am I speaking with?
This is Janae from Dallas.
Hi, Janae. How can I help you today? What questions do you have for me?
Well, I have one question that I came up with. I understand we're kind of just talking in general about instructing and dance. How do you ensure that you are creating choreography that you feel that your dancers will really resonate with and be able to perform with a lot of emotion?
You have to be willing to continue to grow as a dancer yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to be willing to tap into what we call emoting, which is giving all of yourself to someone else to see if you can extract that same type of feeling and desire and passion that they have that they may not be aware of. You have to be totally committed to being vulnerable to get people to that place where they feel safe. Mm-hmm. And that safety is based on the principles and the parameters you put around her to make her feel safe and to make her feel protected and to make her know the dance is about her. Mm-hmm. So if you get to that level of trust, then anything is possible and the world will just open up. But that trust has to be established by understanding boundaries, their boundaries of distance and space, understanding their personal space, and taking the opportunity to get to know them, who they are individually, by conversing in interactions. That way you can tailor things to them based on things I see. So, Janae, if I were to see you dance, I would pick up peculiarities about your dance that you may not even be familiar with. And then I'll ask you to, if you're aware of them, and then I'll try to get you to recreate them and then ask you how you feel about it when you do it. And I think that's where that trust and that foundation is identifying things that are already in your mannerisms that you don't even pay attention to. But they already speak to who you are and how you move and how you feel about the way you move.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But again, the trust has to be established. And in order for an instructor to do that, they have to be willing to be vulnerable because you need to feel safe. Yeah. Great question.
Thank you so much.
Great question. Thank you for the call.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. So as we were talking about it, that was a great question. As we were discussing, men have opportunities to be more gracious in dance. Typically, a man that's new to dance, who he is in the street, is who he brings to the dance floor, unless he finds the right type of instructor that will allow him to be open-minded to consider other possibilities. And so one of the things that the ladies that I dance with or are in my class, one of the things that I preach to them is, when you go to dance socially, you just want to dance. There's nothing that a man should be saying to you on the floor other than, "Are you okay?" or things of that nature. Men typically try to coach and teach on the floor that shouldn't be coaching and teaching on the floor, because the woman that they're dancing with has far more time committed to the dance and perfecting the dance than following his lead. And so what happens is he tries to persuade her to move a certain way or to do a certain way when his lead is misleading, because he may be attracted to her or feel like he can help make her better, which is furthest from the truth, because she's already put in the work to be as good of a dancer as she is. And she's already putting in the work to continue to grow her dance. So I would caution men that when you go to dance socially and you ask a lady to dance, just dance. She wants to talk to you after the dance, she will. If she doesn't, she's just there to dance. She's not there to do anything but dance and enjoy her evening, get past her day. And you should respect that. Respect the boundaries of just dance. If you want to ask a woman to dance, just dance. And hopefully that dance will be a pleasant dance where you can create memories to where if you ask again, she may be inclined to accept your offer and dance with you again. It's all a privilege. It's all a pleasure. But man, you have to know your role. Your role is to lead and be a great lead and help create a great dance. And then go to the next person and see if you can recreate something different and something special. But by all means, make sure that you're putting in the work. So that's something that I think from an etiquette perspective needs to be shared in all dance genres. Men want to overcoach and overlead. And they need to just spend a little bit more time in preparation in class and just be about that business of getting themselves better, and then leave all the teaching on the floor to the instructors and the teachers. So, and man, be a gentleman. When you go get the lady, take her back to her seat, if at best you can. I think the etiquette of the dance is leaving us because people aren't taught the proper etiquette of the dance. And the etiquette of the dance is ask a lady if she would like to dance. If the lady says, just be gentle with me, then pay attention to what she's asking you. And then when you're done with your dance, please take her back where you got her from. That's the correct way to do it. That's the way people that have been dancing for years and have a great reputation, or people that seek out dancers, that's what they look for. They look for to be treated like a lady, and they look for to be handled like one. So make sure that when you're asking a lady to dance, that you don't go ask with ill intentions. You just go because you think she's a great dancer, you'd like to dance with her, and she will probably like to dance with you as well because she's accepting the dance. But just keep it about the dance. Don't make it about a sidebar conversation or a coaching session, because that's not what she's there for. So with that being said, if you're interested in learning different genres, make sure you master one. And when you master that genre, make sure that you can hit all the buttons that you need to. You understand all the techniques that's involved in that genre. And then add that to your toolbox. And then you can go and start learning another genre. But be very mindful of learning multiple genres, because you'll blend them and there will be no integrity in your dance. And it'll be difficult to dance with you. So those are some of the things that I would ask you to consider. Now, I have an event coming up in July. It's a birthday event. It's a white party event. It's an event that I look forward to every year. And this event is going to be hosted by me. I have 2 DJs coming in. I have my big little brother, Brian Steppen B from Chicago via LA. He will be DJing, as well as Stevie Ray from Houston. Now, these DJs are special DJs because they don't just DJ. These are the DJs that keep the party going. These are the DJs that play music that people want to hear, as well as dance with the ladies. Not a lot of DJs have that, but quite a few of them do. And you always want to make sure that you have these type of DJs that are facilitating your party, that's keeping the energy high, keeping everybody engaged. These DJs take requests. So if you have requests, if they don't have it, they'll find it. They'll play it. Our goal at Groove Theory Dallas is to ensure that you have the best time with the best dance floors, with a great climate, with the type of environment that's drama-free, nothing but great times, nothing but great memories are created, free photos are taken, vendors offer amazing items for sale, and we have a great time. So July is going to be a sold-out event like it is every year because it's my birthday, it's Leo season and Cancer season. I will capitulate to that, but it's month of July birthday. So please come on out. I would say that if you're going to get a pre-sale ticket, you probably need to start doing that now, because in order to get a reserved ticket and a reserved seat, you have to have a reserved ticket. So start looking to do that. That's going to be a very, very, very fun night. I know that we'll probably be there after 1 o'clock because we always are. So that's an event that we have coming up. And then the graduation, August 23rd. This event is a night of performances. This is what we call dance friends. I have dance friends from multiple genres that will be having world-class performances that they are choreographing that have never been seen before for your dancing and entertainment pleasure. There'll be plenty of open floor dancing for all genres. There will be a popcorn bar that's self-serve with a variety of popcorn that you can eat at your table or take home with you. There will also be a 5-star dinner. The graduates will put on a wonderful dance performance that I am choreographing for Swing Out as well as Chicago Stepping. There will be a few special performances that we won't mention that will be surprises for everyone. But it's a date night out. It's an after 5 event. It is at an amazing hotel. That's a 5-star hotel. The food is going to be 5-star. There's a vegan option that's available for a meal selection. There are room blocks for $169 for this night. Saturday, August 23rd. Rooms are typically $300 something for this hotel, so we're getting a nice discounted rates for kings and doubles. So please go to my Facebook page, my Twitter page, my Instagram page, talk to one of the graduates. Our tickets are almost sold out. We probably have less than 35 tickets available. And so I really, really encourage you to get a ticket. It'll be a night you'll never forget. And it'll be a night of performances. So you can't ask for that anywhere else and have it anywhere else than the way that we do it. Everything's going to be A++, 100% food service all night long. And we're going to have vendors as well. So August 23rd, get your tickets. It's $100 for a night of performances, open floor dancing, world-class food, and a world-class environment with world-class people. It's an after 5 event. And so we're looking forward to you joining us. Every year we have this event. It's sold out. We haven't had an event like this in 6 years, so we're quickly selling out. So please don't procrastinate. Please don't think that you're going to have a ticket because there will be no sales at the door. We will be sold out because every seat has a plate attached to it, and it's going to be a night that you never forget. Insatiable Elegance is the name of this event. It's the name of this graduating class. Please come out and show your support. You've danced with them in the dance community. They have come and supported you at your events, and your parties, and your workshops. Please reciprocate and let them know that you appreciate their patronage and come and support them for this night of introduction into the dance community that they're already familiar with. So I ask that you don't hesitate, don't pause. You can inbox me, you can Zelle me, or you can go to our Facebook page where the invitation is and get greater details, or you can call me. So please, don't miss this event. It's one that you will never forget. After that, we're going to go to break. Welcome back. This has been a great first night of having live calls. I want to thank all of the callers that called in this evening and asked interesting questions with a great perspective. I ask that you're interested in dancing, any type of genre of dance. Please go out and seek those instructors and teachers and make sure that they meet your needs. Make sure that they can meet you where you are. Teachers, instructors, don't assume that simply by telling people how to do things that they know how to. Be aware to ask them how they learn. I think that's one of the major opportunities instructors have is they just want to show you how to do things tell you how to do things instead of show you. Make sure your instructors or teachers can show you what you need to learn because 95% of the people that learn are visual learners. Don't be afraid to tell them that if they're talking too much, you're not learning. Make sure that they can show you. That showing you will show you your confidence in them to teach you and to follow their instruction, as well as to take their advice and recommendations as it relates to your dance. So with that being said, I want to thank you for tuning in to The Groove. I want to thank you for supporting Groove Theory Dallas and all of its students and all the things that we do. This Saturday, we do have a parade of playhouses at North Park Center that we will be doing. So Groove Theory Dallas is volunteering for CASA, court-appointed special advocates from 9:30 to 2:30 this Saturday at North Park Center Mall in North Dallas. Please come by, help these foster kids by either being an advocate for them or buying raffle tickets to win these wonderful playhouses, and come and introduce yourself to us. We would love to meet you. We would love to see who you are, and we would love to see you support this charity that we care so deeply about. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort. Until we meet again on the couch next week, everybody stay blessed and stay in God's favor. Good night.